Are you a paranormal investigator, or maybe you're just curious about ghosts in general and you want to do your own investigations? Well, y'all, right here in Harriman, Tennessee, is a place called Harriman Hospital, and it is haunted. Oh, and you can investigate it too, which you can find on their website. Now, before this building was ever built, there were multiple different buildings that sat on this site. It was an attorney's office, a general store, a roller skating rink, Penton Hotel. It was a few banks, such as First National Bank and Tennessee Land and Trust. But one thing that happened there was a big tragedy when they did have a hotel there called the Cumberland Hotel. It burnt to the ground and it had a lot of casualties in it. But this building was built in 1938 and it opened its doors in 1939 as a general hospital. And it was known for bringing great state-of-the-art healthcare to the area until they closed their doors in 2013 and they opened up another facility. This hospital offered an ER, an ICU, cardiac unit. It had the place where you had your babies, it had outpatients, and even one time had a geriatric unit. But the one thing the facility didn't have was a morgue. When they did bring the bodies into the building, they had an area that was assigned for people that passed in a non-traumatic way, which meant their bodies were intact, and they had an area in another place outside that door that they kept bodies that were waiting to be picked up from the funeral home that was not in the best shape, like car accidents and trauma, things like that. As the hospital grew, they added different wings and added different floors, and they just grew and grew and grew. In the original building, there is a hallway that's a block long, and they call this the city block hallway. And in that hallway, they said they see a lot of shadow figures, and there is a lot of poltergeist activity. And connected to that long hallway was the Emery River Geriatric Center. And you had to use a key to get in and out of that place, and even to use the elevator. Well, there's a story of some nurses being in there, and the elevator came down on its own, though nobody else was near it. And when it opened its doors, nobody was on it, and a few of them nurses took off running because there was no explanation to why it was being used or who used it. In room 118, there's a man that you can catch peeping out the door. You can see his head and his shoulders, and he'll peep back. And then if you acknowledge him, he is said to walk out and you can see him full body standing there. When this hospital was in full operation, many patients claimed that they had a doctor visit them, but nobody had been in the room. Other people had witnessed doors opening and closing by themselves, as well as cabinets. The medical records room is known to have audible EVPs where you can hear people talking without even having to record them. The owner has their own experience when they first looked to go by the building, and there was a group of people on the second floor. Well, they saw somebody that they knew wasn't a part of their group, and they went after him, thinking it was a trespasser. And they chased this joker all over this area until they closed him in one of the supply closet areas, which was actually a big room but it had no exit. And as they all came to the door, they looked in there, and there was no one in there. No one. Well, maybe a soul. The most famous ghost is of a nurse there, and she comes back because she said that was her second home and that she wanted to come back and visit, and that she still does. Her name was Joanna. She had finished her shift at the hospital, and she went back home where she had a cardiac arrest event, and she was brought back to the ER where she had passed. Now, multiple people have reported seeing a lady in white at a nurse's desk, and they also say they see her sometimes, but she seems to be smiling, still taking care of her patients till this day. Though no reports of malicious spirits have been made here, it seems like a pretty happy place. Have you ever been here? Let me know in the comments. Do you have a story yourself? And yes, look at their website. You can book an event here, and during the winter months, they have half off investigations. And don't forget to follow me for more paranormal stories.